name is Michael Blakely, and I am the founder of Entrepreneurs Collective. And we are bringing to you our pitch event for February, which is part of the Springboard 2021 series. We decided to put this event series on because we thought last year was a very tough year for startups, and generally for everyone. But we wanted to put on a series of events to really add value and help founders in a number of areas, from accountancy to fundraising to drafting pitch decks. And we really wanted to show that as a community, we are there to help you guys. And we wanted to help you to really hit the ground running in 2021. But I'm super excited for our event tonight, which is sort of our pitch competition that we usually do, but we've joined by some really exciting judges this month. I'll introduce you to those guys shortly. But a little bit first about EC and myself. I'm actually a lawyer by trade, so international sanctions and competition law, but I quit a few years ago because I decided to build a dating app. So you might ask, how did that go? Well, actually pretty good, but not always that way. I had a number of problems along the way. As you might guess, training and becoming a lawyer might give me a certain skill set, but it did not prepare me for a lot of what being an entrepreneur throws at you. I found it really tough, especially in the first couple of years, how do you go about fundraising? How do you deal with, arguments with your co-founder? Where do you find good employees? How do you refer, how do you find a good development agency to build your products? And when the going gets tough, like, who do you turn to talk to? And that's the, for a lot of us, especially now during COVID, you're trying to, you've given up your job or you're set up a new company, and it's tough. So this is what Entrepreneurs Collective is there to do. Our mission is founders helping founders. We believe that founders and fellow entrepreneurs are the best equipped to help each other to succeed. And by surrounding yourself with good quality founders, we all increase our chances of building better companies. So next slide, thanks. We're going to kick off with the pitch event. I'm going to introduce you to the judges shortly. The pitch is marked by the judges, but also by a vote from the public. So you will be given your opportunity to contribute to who you think was the best pitcher on the night. And then it will be followed by networking and in Zoom rooms. Now, the Zoom rooms, this is a great opportunity to meet other founders and investors. We've had investment partnerships, all sort of things happening in these Zoom rooms, so well worth checking out. Next slide, Daniel. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our judging panel. I have to say that this is probably our most entrepreneurial panel that we've ever had. Normally there are a few money people who get in there. We might have a VC or someone in here, but every single person on this panel has exits to their name, has built a great business and a very successful business. So I'm super interested to hear what they have to say on our pitches tonight. I'm going to give you a brief introduction, but I will let the judges tell us a little bit more about themselves and also what they look for in a startup. So first, our first judge to introduce you to is Nick Telson, founder of DesignMyNight, who exited last year. Congratulations again, Nick, and a leader in the startup scene with his podcast. Nick, would love to hear a bit more for you to share a little bit more with our audience about your journey and what you look for in an investment or startup.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having me firstly, Michael, and hi to everyone. So yeah, as Michael said, I founded DesignMyNight back in 2010, which hopefully some of you have used for nights out in the UK. We pivoted halfway through from being a B2C company, like a time out, to actually building software for the restaurant and bar industry. So we built reservation software, if you think of OpenTable. We built ticketing software, if you think of Ticketmaster and Eventbrite, and we built vouchering software. So the idea was to sort of power restaurants and bars in the UK. We exited in 2017 with a 2-year earnout. When we sold, DesignMyNight was getting about 8 million uniques a month, and we had about 15,000 software clients, and had a 2-year earnout till Jan 2020. So very good timing. And probably from 2018-19 started investing as an angel. I'm in 35 companies across UK and US. Have set up an angel investing arm called Horseplay Ventures. So you can go and check that out. It's horseplay.ventures, which is a angel investing arm, a startup studio, and we have lots of free tools to help founders, sort of on a mission to really help the startup scene now in the UK especially. As Michael said, I've got my own podcast called Pitch Deck, which is where, similar to tonight, is where founders pitch to myself and a guest angel, and we critique the pitch live on the podcast. So check that out. We've done 2 series, got top 10 global business podcasts, so that was great. And yeah, all round looking to sort of help out startup scene.
Great stuff, and a pleasure to have you, Nick. Next up, we have, for those of you who are regulars at our competition, you'll recognize Barbara, who's a regular with us on the panel. Barbara is a serial entrepreneur, from telecoms to nightclubs. She has the Midas touch when it comes to working with companies. So Barbara, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you look for in investments as well?
Thank you, Michael, and welcome everyone. I can see lots of international people zooming in tonight. That's right, I'm a business entrepreneur and I've done lots of startups. They've not all been exited. There's a few you've had to sort of ditch along the way. But early on, I got the startup bug by investing in someone else's startup, and quite a few of us put a reasonable size of money, actually, over 20 years ago, into a telecoms reseller. Quite a few of us joined the company. I joined the management team, and 2 years later, we IPO'd it on NASDAQ. So that was a pretty crazy sort of first gig for me. Pretty quickly after that, we recognized another gap in the market, and we did a tele-housing data play, which 3 years later was also sold out for 6x to a US ISP who was buying up lots of UK assets. And then you've got the sort of lots of money thing, which Nick's just had now with his fabulous DesignMyNight, and you go, okay, well, how am I going to invest that? You get advisors on board that want to tell you how to spend your money, and we're looking at all these different businesses. One that came along was what became Fabric Nightclub, and I was like, no, I don't want to invest in a nightclub. That's way too risky. And the advisors actually said to us, look, you can buy the property. So we bought the whole corner of which became Smith & Smithfield, Fabric, Greenhill Rents. And then it was an asset-backed club, giving us some more comfort. And we got an incredible team on for Fabric, built that out. That became a record label. And we sold the 2 pieces off independently a good 6 years later. After that, I did a fashion brand, which I ran New York, London. And now I've come around the other way, and I help entrepreneurs to raise money. So I'm working for a boutique consultancy in London called Bespoke Connections. We raise for funds. So I'm not a fund manager, but we raise for funds over 100 million, probably 3rd time fund, and talk to investors every single day. What would I like to invest in myself? Sorry, I'm going on. Consumer brands, probably, with a sustainable side to it. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, great stuff. That's perfect. Thank you, Barbara. So last but by no means least, we have David Hundley. So David has, built companies, IPO'd, multiple exits, works with a number of companies now, and has the very interesting nickname of the Grumpy Entrepreneur. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out on the judging panel. We've seen it on Dragon's Den with there's always one or two mean judges. So let's see how David. How nice David is going to be to our startup. So over to you, David. Would love to hear a little bit more about your journey and what you look for in startups.
Yeah, so started off in tech way before people even knew what stock options were and big investment rounds. Was very fortunate to end up in the US actually for the start of my career, and landed in Silicon Valley when I was 24. And part of the crew that did Commerce One, and we were $22 billion on NASDAQ during 1999. Was bankrupt because I partied way too much and lived in Monaco. So I was bankrupt by the age of 30, which was actually a good thing because I'm still alive, and I'm not sure I'd have still been alive then. It was very grounding. I then ended up getting involved, tried to get involved in corporate world, too much of a maverick, don't do corporate at all. So ended up recovering some businesses, starting my own. And then really, and since about 2012, probably back into the startup scene more so than ever than I was probably in the 90s, and invested, done some really rubbish ones, done some good ones that have exited, which is great, just to even get a return is something. And worked with a lot of businesses, and now I'm chairman of a couple of businesses that are going into the world of probably one's probably going to sell in the next 12 months and the other one is going to move more to the US. And I spend, again, my career is dragging me back to the US. Enjoy what I do. Grumpy, yep, definitely with age. My wife actually named me that, just so everyone knows, so that might tell you something. Not grumpy with people who have to pitch, because I know it's actually really hard and I'm really shit at it. So I can't really judge people on that. But grumpy with the people who deserve it. And what do I look for? This kind of, some of the stage that I've seen on the decks, it's because you might be a shareholder for the next 8 years, 10 years. Don't buy into the 3-year thing. Then I need to get on with the founders. I want to feel like I can add some value to them, but I don't want to poke my nose in if it's not wanted. And being realistic. And I've invested, we did a thing the other day, I think I'm at 42 investments at the moment, and they really are across the spectrum, but technology is kind of the main enabler, probably 95% of them. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, our pleasure to have you. And what can I say? I have to say this is we are really thankful to have such a great entrepreneurial board for this session. No pressure for you guys pitching to have such outstanding entrepreneurs here on the panel. So just to give you a sort of rundown of how it will work. So you will get 5 minutes to pitch. We will then have 5 minutes of questions from the judges. And we've got 5 pitches across the night. To kick us off with proceedings, we have Greener Beans and Peter Wartsman. Peter, do we have you? Okay, yeah, can we unmute Peter? Yeah.
There, can you hear me now?
I certainly can, Peter.
Okay, so let's see if I can share my screen. Do people see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Okay, let me put the timer on. 5 minutes. I will flash the timer to the screen when you've got a minute to go. But we'll kick you off now. Go for it, Peter.
Great. Look, after spending 15 years in the food industry and seeing the damage it's done firsthand to the planet, I was lucky enough to meet my co-founder, Josh Ford, who's also here tonight, and we decided to do something about it. And start a business. Me from my kitchen. I'm even growing some plant-based food there in the on the hob, and look forward to hearing what you guys all think tonight. So to kick it off, if I take the context, our food system is destroying the planet. It's responsible for about 1/3 of greenhouse gas emissions, 69% of freshwater withdrawals, and 80% of tropical deforestation. And even though the vast majority of people want to live more sustainable lives and buy more sustainable food more than ever before, when it comes to going grocery shopping, yes, people can go vegan, and there's a little bit of a trend towards plant-based food, but shoppers are effectively confused and finding it inconvenient and perceived to be expensive to choose more sustainable options. So it's really hard to navigate and figure out what's a more sustainable option for many shoppers, because there's no common labeling. There's so many different certifications to get people's heads around, and then there's multiple factors to consider. It's not only carbon emissions, it's biodiversity, it's water pollution, it's packaging, there's animal welfare, there's a lot. So what's our solution? It's to make sustainable shopping easy and rewarding. So the idea is that you shop online, we offer you more sustainable swaps in that shopping process, and then there's a reward. And so you actually can understand by making those small changes, for instance, from a tomato that's grown in a greenhouse to one that's grown outside with a much lower carbon footprint, by continuing to do that, here's how you're making the world a better place. And really, it's one small swap every time you shop, and they add up and make a big difference for the planet. So what's our go-to-market strategy? We're focusing on the big retailers because that's where the volume is, and that's where we can make more money and make a bigger difference for the planet. So our first step is getting retailers comfortable in using a scoring system. So we're already working with Tesco. We generated revenue with them, and we're working with them so they can use our scoring system to make more sustainable choices for their ranges internally. Then we're launching a Chrome plugin in June where individual shoppers can start using this, and we can start to improve the customer experience and really test it in the market. And then our real goal is to get this integrated into the retailer front end. We've been speaking with retailers across the market. They want this as an industry standard. They're keen to do something like this for the purposes of building loyalty and building trust with customers. And actually having an industry standard really helps drive it across the market with suppliers. So in order to deliver the swapping method and really shift demand towards more sustainable products and change the incentives in the system, we have to have a sustainable scoring system that people trust. So what do? We evaluate the holistic impact. We look at carbon emissions, water pollution, biodiversity loss, and deforestation, as well as packaging, a wide number of things. We adjust the impact based on producer practices, and then we get a single score. So we're taking the complexity of sustainability into a single score, and we can recommend more sustainable swaps. Then we actually, in these swaps, 1/3 of them will be sponsored with brands. So for instance, in this case, the Cookie Crisp, it still meets our sustainability standards. It's 20% more sustainable than the alternative, but it will show up more frequently than the other chocolate cereals, and that's how we make money. We've already had traction with Tesco. We're working with leading NGOs and academics. And in terms of the numbers, we're starting first on building traction with retailers and then moving towards building that volume and really taking off once that retailer integration happens. And then really what our aim is to get to 30 million tons of CO2 removed. Really strong team.
15 seconds, Peter.
Okay, really strong team in retail experience as well as the science and policy. And the investment deal is It's a 3 million pre-money valuation. 300K is what we're raising, and we've raised 40% of it so far. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Okay, great stuff, Peter. Okay, so why don't we start with Nick? Do you have a question for Peter, Nick?
I do. Good pitch, Peter. Very clear. I've got a few questions, so I'll pick one. If making most of your money is by sponsorship, does that devalue the sort of the trust in what you're doing, even if one is better than Cocoa Pops? But what if there is another chocolate cereal that's even better than the one that's is getting sponsorship? So if your whole thing is about wholesome trust, do you think customers will lose trust in you by you pushing sponsored swaps in their face rather than going for the actual best one?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. And the reality is, in terms of how people shop, we're not seeking to give you the most sustainable swap. We're trying to give you a more sustainable product that you're likely to take. So, you know, if you chose Cocoa Pops, which is a kid's chocolate cereal, we'll give you an alternative that's a kid's chocolate cereal. That's the first point. Second one is that we offer you a number of options. So not just one, but 2 or 3, because we know it's going to be really hard to come up with a product that you like. Only one of them will be sponsored. And most importantly, our scoring system is going to be completely transparent. So building trust in our scoring system is absolutely critical. And so we're going to be completely transparent. The NGOs, the academics can completely see it. And so if we try to pull a fast one on anyone and bastardize our scoring system, we're dead in the water in 2 seconds flat. So our whole view is, yes, we need to make money. And yes, this will be our revenue model. At least that's our plan now. But we will we'll be completely transparent as we score, so we can't bastardize it.
Great stuff, Peter. And over to you, Barbara. You mentioned that you were looking for sustainable startups, and here you go. So perfect timing.
Yes, I am. And actually, I've got an introduction for you, so I'll give that to you later. Anyway, this is really interesting. I want to know how the consumer gets to track the beans that they're counting. So and this might be a way for you to be able to promote. So if they say, right, I've swapped every single one and I've been given the right choices, and at the end of the month I want to know how much I've saved in carbon emissions. Is there a way to track that? And maybe there's a reward system with greener products that can come through and go, you've reached X amount of beans, and here you go, we'd like you to try this new product.
I love the way you're thinking about it, Barbara. That's exactly the idea. So we've actually built all the piping, and it's all built. We just need to improve the algorithm and the user experience before launch. And the idea is that just as we had that reward on the right side of the screen there, the idea is that in the actual shopping experience, we're only going to give them 3 at a time, and they'll say, here's how you've made a difference so far. So that can be cumulative, it can grow a beanstalk, we can do all sorts of fun stuff.
Perfect.
And then we can engage them on a regular basis. So absolutely want to do that.
Okay. No, I think it's a great business. I won't go on with questions. I'll let everyone else have a go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. I appreciate it. Yeah. Over to you, David.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for the pitch. I was quite looking forward to this one because I have a business that sits on the analytics side for the brands, actually. So we've been through quite a challenge over the last 6 or 7 years. I guess I've got loads of questions, but the one I want to give is the brands that we work with PepsiCo, Mars, all those guys. They work on the system that they're, in some cases, paying to push their products at a certain level, whether it's in-store or online, at a certain level. So the old store thing would have been at a certain eye-level contact for their product against other products. And online, they want it up through the search engine. And you know, Tesco's and Sainsbury's and all that have a kind of view on that, which is interesting. But I'm trying to understand how you get away from one brand going, right, I'm launching this product, we're going to pay Tesco's $3.5 million to position our product in a certain place in store. I'm like, how that then, when you guys are trying to push the right sponsored answer, I guess, if there's any, what the challenge is there.
So just as, look, I was a Tesco buyer, and you know, a new product came along for Nestle, and they would wave all this money in front of your face. But if you do the wrong thing for the customer, you lose at the end of the day. And so for us here, it's all about first, only products that meet the sustainability criteria, i.e. they're at least 20% more sustainable than the original one, can qualify to be a sponsored swap. If you don't meet that, forget it. There's not even an option for you. And then for those, what we see is there's a huge pot of money, as you say, for new product development, marketing, and over 50% of CPG growth has been with sustainable products over the last 5 years. So we think there's a ton of that coming through, and we see this making complete sense. I got a new product, it's more sustainable. Let's put some money into these sustainable swaps, and it makes sense for us. And what our plans is to do a revenue share with the retailers, so the retailers get a benefit of the sponsored swaps going through their channel.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I'd like to have a chat with you afterwards, because there's a few other questions I have. I like the business, so.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Great stuff. That's what we love to see. Great questions from the judges and some business conversations being had as well. Brilliant stuff, and great start to the event. Thank you, Peter. Okay, so in terms of the next, we have up Custodiex.
Good evening. Just wondering how I get control of the screen.
Okay, so you should have the shit. I think you are.
Share the screen? And...
Yes, just
share. Press the button in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, great stuff. Okay, Martin, I will start the timer.
Hang on just a second.
Yeah, let's get it up first.
Okay.
Can you go full screen for us, please? Yeah, that's it. Looking brilliant. Right. Okay, we'll kick you off then, Martin. Your 5 minutes starts now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Martin Guymer. I have a 25-year career in banks, building complex derivative businesses. I'd like to introduce you to Custodiex. We're a secure digital vault for digital assets being cryptocurrencies, gold, commodities, stocks, fine wines, anything at all. Post-COVID, there's an inevitable move towards digital assets and digital asset technology. Digital assets are bearer instruments. That means that if you have the digital asset and you lose it, you lose the physical asset as well. Therefore, the most important thing in this business is security, security, security. In the Bitcoin market alone, we've seen 20% of the coins lost or stolen due to theft and hacking. Just to explain what a digital asset is, if we take a bar of gold, a physical asset that's held in a vault that is fixed also, we can transfer the ownership to a digital key or a digital certificate, which is an alphanumeric string of numbers and letters. The beauty of this is once it's transferred, it can be distributed globally, instantly, without being touched, virtually for free, with a single source of truth database. This is the most powerful distribution system we've ever seen. There's two ways of storing these products. One is called hot storage, which is high risk and very fast. The other is cold storage. It's slow and low risk. Custodiex has developed a hybrid, is the best of both worlds, that allows a low risk storage environment with real time. And it's this speed element that will allow institution adoption of financial products. There's another problem in the marketplace where the authorization process around a transaction has two ways of doing that, multi-party computation and multi-sig. Both of these have inherent weaknesses. And again, rather than taking, as our competition does, either of these two situations, we've actually created something entirely new, a new secure system. We have a concrete and cloud solution. We use two decommissioned nuclear bunkers, and we have a patented process of moving these digital assets out of the concrete through an air gap into the cloud that allows us to distribute them globally, which is a requirement for our bank customers for regulations. We have a real-time system, which took us a long time to develop. There's no humans involved in the very secure parts of the business. A lot of our competitors use humans to move clumsy pieces of hardware around, which is obviously not very efficient. We're a SaaS product for banks for quick deployment into this world. There's a comment from the chair of Jeremy Powell from the Fed on a digital dollar. He says, this is a very high priority that will result in a faster, safer and cheaper payment system. This structure, digital payments, is the future. And Custodiex provides a security infrastructure around this process, tokenization and distributed ledgers. We're pre-production, and after the funding, we will move to full production in Q3 2021. Our main target is banks, financial institutions. We've only started marketing mid-January, and we've spoken to 5 top banks, and 2 of them will take the test or test drive in our equipment. We've also landed a crypto fund. We're in competition with many others. We're in the top 3 there, and the crypto fund are testing and have invested in the company. And then 2 further bank hubs or bank tech hubs, technology companies that provide the banks with technology, both taking our test. One is building out a prototype for a gold stablecoin, and today we picked up Eurobase, who talked to tier 2 and tier 3 banks to provide their straight-through processing for digital assets. We have a team with over 175 years of banking experience. The main source of funds is to build out our tech team. Mike Sumner has a 25-year career in government and banking security, and the team of 3 that I have had very strong connections to the banking industry, and between us we sit on 5 banking boards. We're looking to raise £1 million. We have £500,000 already pledged at a pre-money valuation of 2.75 million. It'll be great to join us on our journey. We're looking to be the #1 provider of digital asset technology to banks. We're non-disruptive. We're here to help provide the technology, and we also have £400 million worth of insurance to back our digital assets within our vaults, which is a validation of our security structure. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to take calls. I didn't see any clocks, so I don't know if I'm on time or too early.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Great stuff, Martin. Just in time. So congratulations. I think that's the first nuclear bunker we've had on our EC pitch event.
Two nuclear bunkers.
Very happy to have that. But very topical, especially now with what is happening in the crypto world. So let's head over to you, Barbara, and see what questions you have for Martin.
Oh, hi, Martin. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Yes, I love this. I love this too. So if I understand it, if you've got 50 million of crypto assets, say it's Bitcoin, and it's a high risk to have it in a warm wallet because it's connected to the internet. And if it's a lower risk to have it in a cold wallet, but then you can't get access to it, yeah. And you'll come across this amazing thing where you can actually get access to it in real time, almost like a bank transfer. and you can't tell any of us, otherwise you'd have to kill us, sort of thing. So
exactly right.
Okay, right. So excellent. It's very timely. My question to you is, what regulations are there around where banks store their crypto assets, and how do you get around that one?
A lot of the regulations are localized. So we have a way of distributing our keys to local environments. So a large bank would have branches all around the world, and we can actually facilitate local storage through our system, which is quite unique. A lot of our competitors have to put hardware in every country. So that meets the regulatory requirements there. The cryptocurrency markets are following the foreign exchange markets that we're all very familiar with. They're just kind of taking the regulations there, so we're way ahead of the game. But most of the situation is you don't need to be regulated, but we're very much aware of the moves in the States and what happens with the SEC, where they close people down and backdate fines. It's very important to be working with the FCA and what's coming. So the regulation that's coming is going to be similar to the foreign exchange world, which we're familiar with, and it means that it will move towards the banks. And that's why we like being in this world, because I think the more it gets regulated, the more the central banks take it on, the more it will move towards regulation, and it will move towards the banks, unless the banks are too slow and the tech guys will come over, like Facebook with 2.7 billion users in the coin. So that's the threat to the banks. But we feel the banks are the place to be, which is why we're focused on them, and that's our background.
Okay. No, I think it's great. Good luck with it. And I probably have some people to introduce you to. So let's have another chat.
Thank you.
Great stuff. And over to you, David.
Nice to meet you, Martin. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's a competitive landscape. So I can imagine there's some businesses out there with maybe deeper pockets, the usual stuff that we always have. And I don't think that's a bad thing, by the way. That might be a good thing for you guys, because for acquisition potentially. Can you just talk about who else is doing this? Because I've heard before, not to the detail that you've said, but people try and attempt this. But I'm just trying to understand what's out there. What's in the UK, for example?
Okay, so we're 5 years in building this. A lot of tech companies have come in very quickly and built things. So we put a lot of thought into this, and it's specific to the banking community. So we've designed that for them. Globally, there's probably about 50 players, and bear in mind that the market for this is enormous. 50 players is very few. There's probably 3 or 4 credible players in the UK. A lot of them, and we've only just started talking to banks, they are very much behind the curve. I was hoping that would be the case. Having worked in banks are notoriously bad at building technology, and especially security technology, 3 to 5 year build. That's why we wanted to be a SaaS product. Yeah. So we're finding in talking to people, the banks aren't really looking at this. They're waiting for central bank directives. Some of the banks are pushing ahead. One of the most aggressive we've had a lot of talks to. And for example, their lead tech guy said that our solution was too good to be true, and he wants to sort of deploy it into his backlog. So there is competition out there. We feel that we've put sufficient hard work in and time to create something that's quite unique. And to take Elon Musk's example, I asked my developer to build a fish, and he's built a submarine, and it's a nuclear submarine. So he has built something quite unique and substantial. And I don't like to use those words, but we're quite comfortable currently, especially the feedback we're getting from the others that are out there, and they're a lot more capitalized than us. That's why it's imperative we raise money now, because if we don't, we're just going to get left behind.
Martin, I'm going to stop you there just so we can get our third question in from our judge. But perfect, thank you. Over to you, Nick.
Hi there, Martin. Really interesting. I'll be honest, this is not my wheelhouse at all. So, which is good to see if I can really understand what you're saying. The question I have is, at the start, you're talking about the security of let's say Bitcoin. From a place of ignorance, isn't the whole nature of blockchain and the evolution of blockchain that whole idea is to make these assets as secure, as possible, more so than centralized banking. So am I missing something there with the whole security of crypto?
Yeah, I mean, when I started 5 years ago, there was no real solutions. People were using passwords, bits of paper, USB sticks that can be demagnetized. They were getting chewed by dogs, put through washing machines. People are losing the stories every day. So there isn't an industrial solution. There isn't a military grade industrial solution that will allow institutions, and BlackRock came in, they bought, Elon Musk has bought $1.5 billion. They've got to store these things somewhere. They need an institutional grade system. So the market's slow in developing this. So the man in the street who's got a little bit of coins, you can put it on a USB stick offline, hopefully. But most of the products that are out there in that world ask you to copy them and duplicate them and create risk. So you would think there would be a system, but there wasn't, and that's when I started. And they're only just starting to come in, real institutional grade systems. We're real time, we can support payment rails. And when the banks start doing this, the payment system, as the Fed alluded to, can be taken over by this system. And the security better be good when that's the case, because you'll be talking about billions of dollars moving in single transactions. And the hackers and the libertarians or non-libertarians who don't like the banks, or libertarians who don't like the banks, will be having a go at that. So security is really important, and it hasn't really been addressed the way you're implying, if I'm honest.
Okay. Thank you.
Great stuff, Martin. Very timely and interesting presentation. Right. Okay. Next up, we have football fan and Amit.
Hi guys. Let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Okay. Is someone doing a Crowdcube campaign at the moment?
Yes, we are on Crowdcube, and we are already overfunded by 292%. And I just saw the numbers; it has gone beyond 293 just now.
Oh, very good, very good.
So,
okay, so let's get you full screen.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, that's looking good. And your 5 minutes start now. Go for it, Amit.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. My name is Amit, and I am the founder and CEO of Football Fan. Football is a truly global and 12-month sport, as we all know. Billions of fans around the world are looking to connect with each other with newer ways. They generate a lot of activities, and at the same time, they generate a lot of business opportunities. And at the moment, all these business opportunities and everything is catered around the internet on various different platforms. With Football Fan, we are trying to bring all this potential onto one single dedicated fan-driven platform, which is owned by the fans themselves, and fans are the ones who create their content and share with each other and connect and collaborate with each other. For every contribution that they make onto the app, they keep collecting fan coin. The longer term vision of this fan coin is to make them crypto tokens so that we can give the most value for the fans' contribution onto the app. Oh, sorry, something went wrong here on this slide. Okay, but what I was trying to say was that we are already crowdfunding on Crowdcube, and we are overfunded by 292% with 2 more days left. Our app has been rated as the top 6th app among top soccer startups in the UK, and our Android app in particular was rated as top 22nd out of top 92 apps. We have over 25,000 downloads and over 3.3 million interactions on the app already since our official launch in June 2020 last year. So what's the market looking like? I mean, there are almost 46% of people follow football in some shape or form. However, our immediate focus is on the English market, and the English market alone is worth 15 billion pounds. Over 1 billion fans of English football clubs are there on social media platforms. India and China alone have over 500 million followers of English Premier League. On an average, a fan spends almost 1,200 pounds per year on various different footballing activities that he does. And at the same time, there are so much different potential that the local market itself is so lucrative for us before we move to any other geographies. As far as competitive landscape is concerned, there are many apps which does news and score and various other things. However, on our app, these are just one small feature. What we are trying to do is very different. It is more interactive, more engaging, and more collaborative, where fans are the ones who drive the platform. So the team behind Football Fan, that's me at the top left. I have 21 years of experience in IT and IT related businesses. I had a live streaming business in the past, which I made an exit from in February 2017. My co-founder Manish and myself, we were colleagues at Lloyds Bank, and Manish is the CTO who has over 25 years of experience. So collectively, the team has over 75 years of experience, bringing various different expertise from marketing to content to e-commerce and various other things. One of our advisors, Jonathan, who has worked with Manchester United as head of commercial, as head of e-commerce, is also on the line today with us. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So there are various business opportunities, but we would like to focus first on the community building, and then we will focus on various other revenue opportunities. However, we are launching our first revenue stream, which is live streaming of football trivia in June this year, followed by advertisements with various brands by end of this year. We are also looking at various other potential revenue streams, such as merchandise, tradable player cards, and so forth. We did a pilot with the Sports Direct, JD Sports, and Decathlon as well before COVID for merchandise, and it was very successful. These are some of the pictures from our on-ground promotions before COVID at Arsenal and Tottenham stadiums. Very useful. We got to speak to the fans firsthand, got a lot of feedback, and that's how we have built the product and brought it to this level as it is today. So our investment proposition, we are looking for £250,000 in return of 10% equity into the business, which is SCIS and EIS eligible. However, SCIS spot is over now. That investment will take us to a revenue of £20,000 by May 2022, which will take us to a break even in Q2 2023 and a return of 10x, around £9 million by end of year 3, which will give 10x returns to our investors from this round. So currently the valuation is 2.5 million pre-money valuation. The goal is to take that valuation to 25 million pounds by doing various, by building the community and at the same time building various revenue streams onto the product. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening to me. It's a massive business opportunity with next generation technology, very scalable business. We can take this to Africa, to South America, various other places, multiple revenue streams. New users are joining every day, and the marketing is very focused because we know where the fans are. Thank you. Sorry, I had my own timer running here.
Okay, perfect timing, Amit. Right on the button. So you came back for another startup after an exit. Okay, glutton for punishment. But great stuff. Okay, so we're going to head over to David to kick us off with the questions this time.
Cool. Nice to meet you, Amit. Thank you for that. I will confess, I absolutely hate football, but I'm told from a business point of view that's a really stupid way to be. So I'm going to be open-minded on this. I guess I'm struggling on your revenues a little bit, but I don't want to get into that because there's no point on this call. But where's the exit on this business? That's the bit I'm challenged with a bit. As if I was going to invest as a shareholder, I'm thinking where do I get out?
Yeah. So there are various exit opportunities, but my personal goal for this particular business is that I would like to take it to IPO, because there is no such business out there which has gone to IPO level. And this business in particular has that capability to go to that level because it is very scalable in nature. And it's not only limited to one country or, some handful of people. There are 46% of people, nearly 4 billion people follow football in some shape or form around the world.
Okay.
So that's what my goal is. But in that journey, if Sky comes and says, or ESPN or BT comes and says, here is your, 200 million pounds and sell it to us, then I'll see over there.
Thanks. Cheers.
Okay, great stuff. And over to you, Nick.
Hi there, Amit. Thanks for the pitch. I am a football fan. I'm a Spurs fan, so it's good to see you outside White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm going to take David's mantle though as the grumpy one. As a big football fan, I was excited to see this. To be honest, I still don't really know what it does. So where, just a bit of feedback is, when you're pitching like simple problem solution, what we built to do the problem solution, we sort of jump straight into Crowdcube. So what actually does Football Fan do when I open the app?
Yeah, okay, I'll try to answer that. So various trends are changing now. So gone are those days where you have a sports app, where Sky Sports or BT Sports or a BBC Sports app, where it's just one dimensional, that here is the news, here is the score, and off you go. The younger generation is looking for more interactivity, more collaboration, more connecting with the like-minded people. For example, all of us over here are entrepreneurs. We are on this platform because we all are like-minded people. We like to be on this platform. So I have attended several meetings, several pitches in the past at Enterprise Collective. So that's where the trends are moving, that there's so much data already available that don't give me all the data, just tell me things that I am interested in. I'm only interested in football. Don't tell me about music. Don't tell me about films or anything like that. That's where the trends are going. And with our platform, we are trying to create that community of fans, where fans can connect with like-minded fans, can have all sorts of conversations that they want to do. They can take their frustration out. They are so passionate, they are so vocal, they can bring all those things on the platform. At the same time, they get all the information, whether they need news, they need score, they need videos, they need post their own football focused content, so they can do all those things as well. At the same time, follow football clubs, follow other content creators, follow other fans as well on the app. So in a nutshell, it's kind of an Instagram or a Facebook of football, where we are trying to build the community of football fans on one dedicated platform.
Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. And let's finish off with you, Barbara. Do you have a question for Amit?
Yes, thank you. I'm also not a football fan, but can see the scalability in this, and I do understand your business proposition in that football fans are thirsty for information on football and do want to communicate this together. So that's very current. My worry would be, and you've done really well on Crowdcube, that who might come along and say, okay, I want to do this myself. The next level up of VC investors are going to say to you, how's your IP protected? So yes, you can scale this up and very quickly get sponsorship in and do all that on your own. How do you take that next level to protect the IP that you've worked so hard for?
Yeah, and that's a really good question, actually. So coming from a technology background with nearly 21 years in that industry, I'm very much bullish and focused on building our own IP on the product. So we don't use any external third-party libraries or anything like that, because some of the things that we are doing, like for example, we have a concept of banter rooms. So you can come onto the app, a Spurs fan can create a banter room with Arsenal fans, and the app will automatically send invites to the fans of both the teams. So those kind of things are not available. They are very complicated to build.
Excellent. Keep them complicated.
Thank you.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you.
And that is the reason, FanCoin, which I want to convert into crypto tokens, we were very close to converting them. I have also got the trademark for that name. So that those tokens are becoming very, very popular these days, as we all know.
Perfect.
Right. Okay. I'm going to stop you there, Amit, because we're over time. But I'm very interested to hear about those banter rooms. As Nick will probably tell, putting Arsenal and Tottenham fans into one room together might start off as banter, but I can see it.
Keep it digital. Keep it digital.
Moderation, I think. Moderate involved there. But thank you for your presentation, and we're going to good luck with the crowdfunding campaign. I don't know if you've done it already, but if not, you want to pop your link to your crowdfunding page in the chat. That would be great. Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, and next up we have Gabrielle and Tutti Space.
Hello, can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Ready?
Your 5 minutes. Go for it.
Hello, I'm Gabriel, the founder of Tutti. There are over 250,000 creatives in music, theatre, dance, film, and photography in the UK. They're always in need of inspiring spaces for various creative uses, including film shoots, rehearsals, and performances. People search on Google, Gumtree, and Facebook to find spaces today, but there is no way to filter for creative needs, so it can take weeks to find all potential spaces, ask them for creative details, and compare options. At the same time, there are over 150,000 non-traditional spaces that can be used for creative projects but aren't serving those needs because they're difficult to find. We call these hidden gems. You can see one of our gems here. It's a former Methodist church. Our hidden gems include listed buildings, nightclubs during the day, churches, a wide variety of spaces. These gems are absolutely perfect for short-term creative hires, but their online presences don't accurately reflect their potential, and therefore they're rarely found or considered. So we've built a solution. It's essentially Airbnb for creative spaces. We market only to creatives who can search based on their artistic needs, and hosts get a full marketing and booking management solution that can be set up in 5 minutes with zero technical knowledge. We handle the technically challenging aspects of SEO and digital marketing to help matchmake the best spaces with the perfect creatives. Our team are experts in the creative industries and technology. My family have been professional musicians for generations, and I've spent the last decade managing and delivering projects across music, film, and technology for some massive names in the industry. My co-founder James has worked as a producer at the BBC and Roundhouse for the past 8 years, and we have an awesome team of developers and 3 experienced advisors supporting us every step of the way, including Chris Howard, who's the founder of creative community, The Rattle Collective, and former EIR at Techstars. So we built a basic prototype before COVID to help hidden gems list their spaces for creatives in a simplified manner. It grew 20% month over month until March 2020. Then you know what happened. While the creative industries were massively affected, and Tutti was no exception, COVID did give us an opportunity to focus on our product and pipeline rather than booking fulfillment. We've built 95% of the core functionality entirely on our own funds and curated a huge pipeline of hard to book spaces. COVID has created enormous demand for spaces post-restrictions. Creatives are eager to get back to work as soon as possible, but up to 40% of traditional spaces have run out of funds or staff and will be unable to reopen immediately. So creatives will need to turn to other options. We're on track to have 500 non-traditional spaces ready for bookings on day 1 post-COVID, which could be as early as April, according to Boris, fingers crossed. We're working with partners such as School Space and alternative venues to list every school and military venue across London. And we have a whole collection of independent spaces from homes to studios, churches, bars, even tube carriages and a park. We're also aggressively working on optimizing our SEO so all our spaces can easily be found on any searchable site. Our business model is simple and designed to minimize sales friction for now. It's free to list and we charge 10% commission on successful bookings. We've seen bookings range from £5 an hour to £2,500 a day, most often for a couple hours, but sometimes spaces have been requested for up to a few weeks. Some creatives book as often as 2 or 3 times a week, while others will return every few months. We started with physical spaces because every creative project needs a venue at some point, whether it's for a meeting, rehearsal, photo shoot, or performance. As we fulfill bookings, we're learning when, where, and why creatives are booking spaces. This data is supporting our assumptions on what other services we could help them with in the future. Things like insurance, contracts, sourcing equipment, essentially automated logistics. Creatives spent 22 billion on projects in 2019 and are expected to spend that much again by 2023. Beyond spaces, we're designing technology to save them time and money on 20 to 30% of their creative projects. While that's the big picture, our current focus is the marketplace of creative spaces. There is, of course, competition in this sector. Tutti provides hidden gems with a capable and simple system that can handle the marketing, booking, and payment solution for creative bookings. This is our axis of competition. I'd be very happy to go into these competitors. A number of them are venture-backed. We've done a lot of the tech development already, so we're not raising a big round right now. We're raising 100K to make sure initial bookings go smoothly when restrictions lift, making sure we nail our test city, London, before expanding. We have half of it committed already, SEIS is available, and we're looking to close mid-March. I hope you'll come and join our journey. Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. And with 10 seconds to spare as well. Great work, Gabriel. Okay, so we'll head over to Barbara. Why don't you kick us off with a question? Oh, have we lost Barbara?
Coming back. I'm here. we go from the MVP of most valuable player to MVP of minimum viable product in one move. I think this is really interesting, and I've got some hidden gems for you. I think you just need to ramp that up, because people are going to be, I have to see another shoot with a piece of wallpaper and a model in front of it. I think I want to kill myself. So you just need to drive those numbers up, get out to all of your contacts, the photographers' assistants, the agencies. Once you have that, I think it's a very scalable business, as you say, Airbnb for amazing spaces, and just concentrate on getting those numbers in, and then you can get the VC money in it. It's a very investable business, and then you can scale it to wherever in the world you want.
Cool, thank you.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Over to you, David.
Nice to meet you, Gabrielle. So I was challenged by this business, and then I spoke to my wife, who was a TV producer for ITV for a very long time, and she was like, wow, this sorts so many problems that we have, that researchers basically and runners have to go and find all this, these places, right? And as Barbara just said, we get fed up with the same stuff, and it's the same for TV companies just doing an advert. So I'd be knocking on ITV's door to put this in as a solution for them anyway, because it solves a lot of problems, and those the pockets are deep. I guess, where was my question on this? I think it's because I quite like the business, so I'm trying to. I would worry. How far does the 100K take you?
The 100K gives us runway to focus on launching like COVID, the post-COVID focus, and about 6 to 9 months of runway. Okay. We just want to focus on capturing all of the intent post-COVID.
Okay. I mean, so I guess my question is, why little now? Like, is it for valuation reasons, or are you like, because for me, I go, there's a lot of putting effort into 100K to raise 100K can be the same as a few 100,000 and extend your runway by a significant amount, and also deal with any other COVID issues, God forbid. But yeah, I guess that's where I'm a bit quizzed.
Well, we were originally raising 150K. We were just kind of going for an SEIS quick round. Okay. And then we sourced 60K of that with non-dilutable sources. And then so we just kind of, we have a budget in plan for how we can achieve the next 6 to 9 months. And it was 150K. So okay. We chose that. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good to hear you're being tough with the money. I guess, look, just don't lose out on the opportunity, right? If there's an option for more cash, because it feels like a straight business that actually could do rather well. And I
mean, we wouldn't turn down more than 100K. That's what you're asking.
Brilliant. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, brilliant. And over to you, Nick.
Hi there, Gabriel. How are you doing?
Hello.
So obviously this is very much my business. So DesignMyNight had tons of event spaces that people could book and hire. So I know this game very, very well. My concern for you, and I want to see how you answer it, is as a pure play marketplace business, the volumes of traffic, the people booking you need to make serious revenue is a lot.
Yeah.
And actually with a marketplace, the biggest problem is leakage. So they'll find the school on your site and then just go direct. And then the school don't have to pay you 10% of the commission if they go direct. So to David's point, an ITV runner might use your website to find the place and then just go direct, and you lose out on everything. So is there any software play? Us, as I said, we had 8 million uniques, and probably a fifth of our total revenue was from the marketplace booking side, and the rest was software. So what software can you play into, and how does that trap the user into your marketplace?
Yeah. So I'm a very product focused founder. So we are designing SaaS solutions for both sides of the marketplace. starting starting with the hosts, and there's I'm completely lost my train of thought thanks to that. Yeah, so we're building basically a booking software for the hosts, because one of the biggest issues with this marketplace is that it's massively defragmented. Every single space has its own website, its own booking system. None of it's standardized. Some of it really doesn't work. Some of it, I have found a website recently that you had to send in by mail a booking request in order to get a booking there. Yeah, so a lot of it is not technically built. So on the host side, that's what we're doing there. And then on the artist side, there are so many different tools that we could build to simplify finding spaces for a collective of people, for ITB studios, for example, sharing potential spaces, comparing, creating a sort of a pipeline for how they find and choose which space to book, that we are building that side of the marketplace, a SaaS solution as well. Does that answer?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute again. Okay, well, great stuff, Gabriel, and great timing with the fingers crossed. The end of the COVID lockdown, we'll see a interesting time for you, I'm sure, over the next few months. Okay, so next up we have TheClub, our final pitch for the event, and Daryl Frater. Okay, perfect. Already sharing your screen. You're ahead of me. There we go.
Great. Can everyone see?
Yeah, I can see. Okay, very good. And I'm going to start your 5 minutes. Go for it, Daryl.
Wonderful. Gone are the days where nightlife looked like this. With over 15 billion annual attendees, the nightlife industry has been completely disrupted. Even after a full year of lockdown, there's still no true solutions that help us enter the new age of the party business. My name is Daryl Frater, and we are building TheClub, which is monetizing virtual parties. According to the National Independent Venue Association, over 90% of clubs and venues are at risk of permanently closing due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This has left 6.3 million DJs with loss of income and billions of partygoers missing the nightlife. In an effort to transition their careers online, thousands of DJs are now live streaming. They're attracting millions of viewers, but they're not earning revenue on the platforms that they're currently streaming on. I was introduced to this opportunity last May after working with DJ Jazzy Jeff, who's a pretty popular DJ, and we hosted a virtual prom with my previous startup, Prom Social. The event was a huge success, and it was so great that even Jack Dorsey, who's the CEO of Twitter, got involved, and he made a $45,000 donation to our event. Since then, I've been obsessed about making the virtual party experience even better. This has led me to create TheClub. TheClub is a community-based live streaming platform that monetizes virtual gatherings by connecting entertainers and attendees for engaging virtual events. The first community we're starting with is DJs. And we launched the first version of the app on September 27, 2020. And today have over 1,500 registered DJs that have hosted over 780 events on our platform. We absolutely love talking to our users. We surveyed 200 of our DJs and have interviewed 50 of them on our podcast. This has given us tremendous qualitative and quantitative data to validate our concept. Our product is simple. DJs are able to stream on the platform, as you can see on your left, and we send targeted users to their stream based on our algorithm. We then use gamification to give incentive to the viewers to send tips and donations to those DJs, of which those DJs can cash out seamlessly. Our business model is a hybrid of subscription and transactional revenue. So we charge the DJs $10 a month to stream. And then we actually take 20% of those tips that come through the platform. We're currently seeing an average tip per viewer at $1.77. And we believe we can get that above $4 as our community matures. As we gain larger viewership, we can see examples of how our tip revenue will scale up as well. And I apologize, I'm from the US, so everything's in dollars. We serve two markets, consumer SaaS and social media. So using a bottom-up approach, we're targeting the 6.3 million DJs globally, and that provides a $760 million opportunity with our $10 a month price. On the social side, we have a projected ARPU of $8.76. So there's a $4.4 billion opportunity using our in-app tipping model. We're not your typical live streaming platform. Our edge is in our superior user interaction and the streamer's ability to monetize. We take care of music licensing for our streamers, where they don't have to worry about copyright issues. We help our streamers get discovered using our algorithm. We use gamification to increase the amounts of tips our viewers get, our viewers give. And then we use superior viewer interaction because they allow to talk via video chat. Our goal is to build the largest community of virtual DJs. With our primary acquisition strategy is inviting DJs to be guests on our podcast, the My DJ Story podcast. We also have relationships with some of the greatest players in the music industry, such as Shady Records and Bone Thugs and Harmony. And we also have some amazing DJs with massive audiences. We have a dynamic team of individuals with great startup experience. We recently graduated from the Impact Ventures Fall 2020 Accelerator, where we actually run crowd favorite. And we most recently been accepted to the highly competitive On Deck Community Builder Fellowship. Currently raising a 50K pre-seed round. And this will give her 12 months of runway. 300K will go to sales and marketing. 150K will go to product development. 50K will go to administrative, such as legal and accounting. This will allow us to hit key milestones, such as securing 5,000 paid subscribers, yielding us 600K in recurring revenue. I've been self-funded to date. And yeah, my name is Daryl, and we are monetizing virtual parties. Once we are successful with the DJ community, it unlocks us the opportunity to scale into other communities using the same exact model. So thank you for listening. I would love to meet and interact with everyone on the call. So feel free to either reach me on social media or connect and schedule a time on my Calendly. We haven't started fundraising yet, and we are about to start taking meetings for our first investors. So looking forward to chatting with you.
Okay, well, great stuff, Daryl, and great to see another business, topical business, and certainly, a problem that I think has affected a lot of people. I know there's a lot of pent-up demand and people missing pubs and clubs, and so very timely. You're very lucky that we've got we've got a great panel of judges, but in particular a couple of here who have spent much of their careers working with club and entertainment night. So let's kick off with you, Nick. We've got some questions for Daryl.
Hi there, Daryl. Really good pitch. Really enjoyed it. Good energy. I think Barbara will know more about the clubbing scene than I will, although I spent a lot of time in Fabric, I have to say. I get it. Really like the idea. My big one obvious question, which I'm sure everyone asks you, is do people want to club at home when come July the 1st and Boris lifts all the lockdown, we're allowed to go clubbing again in real life? I've done some of these during lockdown, and partying by myself in my lounge is not as fun as a drum and bass night in Fabric. What I can see though is the original version of Twitter and Cameo, where actually if you can get top DJs and people are tipping them, to have that personal interaction, like, whatever, Fatboy Slim in your living room type thing. But obviously I imagine they would cost quite a lot. So the main obvious question is, do people want a club in their living room?
Yeah, so there's a couple of directions to go with that. So in regard to what we feel the industry is doing is we're going to allow the DJs to not only do this while it's virtual, but while they're inside real clubs, they can still set up their live stream so that they're getting money from the actual party that they're at, but then also they can extend their reach to the virtual audience. So this is a win-win now and in the future. We also see that DJs are going to be able to have the opportunity to DJ from their home and stream into clubs and people's houses and be booked for virtual DJing, because DJs, if you think about it, they have huge equipment and all the stuff they have to travel with. And if they can be more places and have less travel, it's a win-win for them because they get to save money and make a lot more money. So clubs are already set up they have hundreds of TVs in their clubs. If they stream DJs to their TVs, it's not that hard to set up a way for them to connect with those DJs virtually.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, and over to you, David.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Daryl. Obviously, I spent a lot of time in nightclubs, as you can probably tell with my young age, right? So, a very quick question was, what was the valuation on the business?
So we are talking to investors right now. We have not set a valuation as of yet.
Right. Okay. And how much is built today? Like,
yes. Yeah, so,
can you run parties, like do DJ parties now, or?
Yeah, so with our MVP that's live on the Google Play and App Store right now, you can download it, and we have DJs that are going live and such. So it's pretty much comparable to Instagram Live right now, where the DJs can stream, you can chat and connect with other people within the stream. Within this raise, what we want to do is add more streaming capabilities where DJs can stream in using RTMP, which allows them to use really cool backgrounds, a lot of special effects. Then we also want to add the social component that I talked about, where the viewers of the stream can actually communicate one-on-one via video chat. Because right now, when you live stream and when you're joining these virtual DJ streams, it's just text communication, and that's not really interactive. So we're taking a DJ live stream and turning it into a real virtual party.
Okay. Thank you, Daryl. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, great stuff. Thanks, David. And over to you, Barbara. Oh, let's unmute Barbara.
I hadn't muted myself. You guys had muted me. Yes, great idea. Very timely. I think the same as Nick in that people are going to want to come out of this very quickly and get back to nightclubs and being with people. So how to monetize that? And I think it's going to need a lot of firepower to scratch the surface of this one. There's already big players out there like BTV, which is in Europe. How do you get to the people who will give you access to the big DJs? I think this is one for the smaller DJ with fewer followers that can then go out to their fans and monetize that. One question for you: is there a streaming license cost? How does that work?
Yes, one component of our product is that we make sure we pay out the royalties to the music rights owners. So we actually partner with a third-party company that tracks the songs in the background, and they help us automatically pay out the music royalties. And that's one of our differentiator, because other big platforms, they're not paying the music licensing fees that they should. And we want to be in line with the music industry and really cater to those music artists that deserve the pay that they deserve. And it's going to help us in the long run. Because we're not going to fight those legal battles that Amazon, Facebook, and Twitter are going through.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Okay, great stuff. And thanks, Daryl. Now, so that was our last pitch event for the night. So I'll ask the judges at this point, if you'd like to send through to me your pitches rated from to your favorite down, that'd be great. Shortly, we'll also be giving you guys the opportunity to vote and put the people's vote as to your thoughts on the pitches. But I'd like to, at this point, bring up Julia from Incisive Edge, one of our sponsors who we work with. Julia, are you here? Yes.
I am. Yeah, great stuff. Thank you, Michael. So I'm Julia Payne. I'm the co-founder of Incisive Edge. We are a performance marketing agency for B2B and B2C startups, scale-ups, and established tech and tech-enabled companies. So my background, similar to Michael, I was a lawyer. And after that, I moved into business, and to date have started 4 companies. So 2 floated on AIM, 1 we sold, and Incisive Edge is the 4th. So I think it's fair to say that I understand the trials and tribulations of startup life, and also the highs and lows of being a founder and working in a startup. And I suppose that's really what Incisive Edge is all about and what sets us apart. So we've been where you are, And we know it's hard, and our goal is to make your marketing as effective as possible, as quickly as possible, and really to drive results at all stages of a startup's life cycle. So that could mean in the early days when you don't have much money or resource, we can advise and guide you on where to spend your budgets. So for example, startups will often spend a lot of money on brand, but then realize that they don't have enough money for generating traffic. So we can help to prioritize your activities and your channels to market for the budget you have. As you grow then, so when you're around seed stage, you want to generate more marketing qualified leads or sales qualified leads. So the questions always are, what are the channels to market? You know, which ones should we use? How do we get the best results and drive ROI? But there's often at this stage a lot of gap filling to be done. So whether that's on the strategy or communications or building the pipeline, you know, or even building your marketing and sales team. And one of the questions that we're often asked is, you know, how do we build our marketing team? Who should we hire and when? So then when you move on from seed stage to Series A, or, you know, kind of heading towards Series A, it gets a lot more hardcore. So it's about creating your lead funnel, lead scoring, aligning your marketing and sales, and operating at scale, so often globally. So what's the best way of going around this, and how can you achieve that scale? So in short, we provide all the marketing services you need as a tech company across strategy, execution across the channel, and then conversion rate optimization to really drive results and your ROI. We're also a HubSpot partner. So we have a couple of free offers. For Entrepreneurs Collective members, we offer free HubSpot onboarding and training if you're thinking about taking the platform. But for everybody, we offer a free marketing session for anybody who feels that this would be helpful for them, where you can ask any of your burning marketing questions you have, because really that's what we're all about. So driving marketing performance, but also using our knowledge and experience to help advise and guide you. Thank you, Michael.
Great stuff, Julia. And, you know, I know from some of the sessions that we've had and the one-to-one that we've had some great feedback in terms of the consultations with Julia. With 3 exits to a name, you know, certainly she completely understands the startup game and, you know, using marketing to reach your next round of VC funding and to get to those exits. So you should have up on your, thank you very much, Julia. You should now have up on your screens a poll based on which covers your pitches. So please cast your votes now for your favorite pitches. And now I'm going to hand over to Ben, our community director, who's just going to talk to you through a little bit more about what we offer at EC. So over to you, Ben.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you so much to all of the pitchers and judges for another fantastic night. Very quick one from me before we head into the networking section of the evening. Just to drop a note to everyone in the audience today who isn't officially an EC member yet, about everything that we can do to kind of, you know, give you the best chance of success, help supercharge your startup into the year. So as you can see, we've got some of the benefits on screen, invitations to monthly events, hopefully one day soon, private dinners as well. But as well as these free events that we run to attend the pitch nights, we also have dedicated workshops, fireside chats, founder focus roundtables, loads of different events for us to help our members. Second to none mentorship scheme to help in all areas. If you fancy yourself for taking part in a night like tonight, we saw it was great to see both Martin and Peter already arranging some conversations post-event. Fancy yourself to do a night like this, then you know, it's an opportunity available to all of our members to pitch at one of these nights. And it's a lot more than just taking part. It's also a full rehearsal, full review of your pitch deck, really dedicated feedback on how best to present yourself in this format. We also do investment deck reviews, access to a wide range of credit schemes, which I believe we have here. So as you can see, there's an awful lot we can offer in this space. If there's something you're looking for and it's missing from that slide, if we don't have it, we'll go and get it for you. No problems at all. people are very keen to work with a highly vetted group of startups like the one we've got. But most importantly, hundreds of different challenges that you may face as a founder. Guarantee we've dealt with them before. We have a benefit to help. If we don't have a benefit, we have an introduction to somebody who can. But we've helped our founders in so many different ways. We'd love to be part of your journey as well. We'd love to connect you to our community of both investors and founders and get you involved in what we're doing. And next event is next Tuesday, fundraising workshop. If you wanted to hear a little bit more from Barbara tonight than you did, then this is your chance. Do come along on Tuesday. It's going to be a really exciting night to help those who, whether you're developing a pitch deck, whether you're looking to engage your audience in the right way. It's going to be some fantastic advice at the fundraising workshop on Tuesday night. Please do drop me a message if you're looking to register or would just like to grab a chat in the coming days. And that's me. One quick note I'll add actually while Michael's unmuting himself. Before we head into the networking rooms this evening, there's a couple of messages in the chat tonight from people who the networking is for founders and the investors in our network. We do have carefully selected partners. We know add a lot of value to the founders. But if you aren't a founder, if you're here to try and sell to our members, the networking section isn't for you, I'm afraid. Thanks a lot, and pass you back to Michael.
Yeah. Okay, great stuff, Ben. And you were just still waiting for a few more from the judges. So whilst we wait for that, just to sort of reiterate, what we try and do here at the Entrepreneurs Collective, as we mentioned, is founders helping founders. I hope you will have seen from all the judges and everyone that we've had involved that actually, the number of exits and IPOs and the quality of the founders that we have on this Zoom. The reason we do that is because these guys, they've been through everything already, right? And we feel that there's so much value to be had from the later stage founders working with our earlier stage founders. And from growing a community like this, like yourselves, we're a startup, and the community is growing. But I think the reason it's growing so fast is because our mission is to help you guys and for all of us to help each other. And the best way to do that is just to surround ourselves with great people. Okay, so I think I'm just waiting for Barbara. Do you have your results coming through? Or have you sent them separately?
I did.
Oh, sorry, you sent them separately to direct to me.
I did.
Okay.
Ages ago, a good 10 minutes ago.
Sorry, okay. Right, okay, so to kick off, we have the People's Champion. So this is the vote according to you, the audience, and the winner is, according to our audience, Green Beans, followed by Tutti Space and TheClub. So great congratulations to you guys. But the overall winner from a combination of the judges' votes and the people votes, the overall winner is Greener Beans, but we're very close, joint second place, the club and Custodiex coming in as close second place. But what I'd like to say to everyone, it was an extremely strong event tonight, some really great businesses. So I think, everyone who took part should be really proud, because I think there were some great presentations and some very investable businesses. So well done to all of you guys. And over to you, Greener Beans. Congratulations. Where is he? Oh, have we lost our winner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check it.
Oh, Peter.
He might be on mute.
There we go. There we go.
There we go. So you had your mute.
Thank you.
We had some trolls last week, so we've had to be a bit more controlling. So we don't have we're not taking over again. But yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, for voting for us. So, Mike, just so I'm clear, so I guess this time is a chance for people to ask us questions, and we'll answer. Is that right?
No. So this is we're finished now. We're going to move on to the networking session now. So okay. That's the part over. For all of you founders, your LinkedIn are in the chat. So if anyone wants to connect with you guys, please do reach out to the founders direct. And what we'll do now is we'll move to our networking session. So thanks again to all the judges and to all the pitchers. A brilliant session for all of those. Daniel, I don't know if we've done it yet, but if we could drop the judges' LinkedIn into the chat as well. So if anyone wants to follow any of our judges, that would be great as well. We're going to move into our Zoom rooms in a minute. And really what we do in these networking sessions is we will break you all into rooms of normally about 10 people in each room. You will get 3 to 5 minutes each to firstly introduce your startup. So we give you, this is a time to really nail your 1 minute elevator pitch. If you're not selling your startup in 1 minute or not able to explain it, then you're doing something wrong. So you should really be able to sell that. This is a community for helping each other. So what we ask you to do at this point is to offer to give something to the room. Nearly everyone on this call has an expertise or a background or something that they can offer to the community. But then also, if you're here, we hopefully, you want something as well. And, as an entrepreneur, we encourage people to ask. So what is it that you can have help with? Is it advice? Do you want introductions? Are you looking for developers? Whatever it is, please do ask in your room, and then we give you a couple of minutes to discuss that. So we will shortly break you into rooms, but what I will do now at this point is we won't take you back. The rooms will go on roughly till 8:30 for those of you there. And I will pop in and see some of you guys. But a final thank you to everyone who's pitched tonight and to all the judges, and hope to see you guys at future events as well. So next up, you'll have a pop-up which will invite you into a room.